He was born in Paris, France on July 19, 1834. Degas was born into a middle-class family with his father, Auguste, who was a banker, and his mother, Celestine, who was an opera singer. Ever since Degas was young, he had a talent for drawing and wanted to become an artist. Degas was called a 19th century Impressionist painter and sculptor. However, he rejected that label and preferred to be a realist artist or an independent artist. Degas began copying Renaissance paintings at Louvre and trained in the studio of Louis Lamothe. He made copies of Raphael's work and studied contemporary painters such as Ingres and Delacroix. In 1873, Degas, Monet, Sisley, and other painters formed the Society of Independent Artists. These painters were committed to putting on exhibitions free of the Salon's control. This group would be later known as the Impressionists. At the first Impressionist exhibition, Degas exhibited portraits of modern women painted from radical perspectives. He enjoyed capturing female ballet dancers and played with unusual angles and ideas. Degas wanted to capture their energy and grace, but also their hard work and effort. To soften the contours of his figures, he broke the surface textures with hatching, contrasting dry pastel with wet, and using gouache and watercolors. He was attracted by ballet with its elegance of costume and scenery, its movement, and its artificial lighting. Degas usually depicted the ballerinas off guard, showing them backstage at an awkward moment like fastening a slipper or droop exhausted after a practice session. He stripped his dancers of their glamour to show their true selves. This work isn't a typical Impressionist painting with its lack of color. Unlike other Impressionist ballet scenes, the dancers are rehearsing. Degas portrayed dancers in a different way and not only showed them dancing but also stretching and yawning. Although all the dancers are dressed uniformly, their faces are not the same. Every dancer has a different facial expression, giving off the mood of fatigue. One dancer is yawning, with both hands stretched back behind her head raised and mouth wide open. The ballerinas do not show the beauty that is usually shown on stage. This work captures the repetitious nature of the ballerina's movements that are rehearsed, an old teacher and two bored onlookers. In this painting, the ballet class is coming to an end with the exhausted pupils who are stretching, twisting to scratch their backs, and adjusting their hair or clothes. The teacher is Jules Perrot, who is a real-life ballet master. Degas observed the natural, ordinary gestures and the pauses when concentration is relaxed. Their slightly raised viewpoint is looking diagonally across the studio, which emphasizes the vanishing perspective of the floorboards. In the 1850s, Degas was academically studying male nudes, which inspired him to paint and sculpt nude women. He often showed women getting into or out of bathtubs, which were often shallow washbins on bathroom floors. Like the dancers he depicted, none of the women were graceful, and they usually had their backs to the viewers to remain mysterious and private. In this work, the young crouching woman is bathing herself in her bathtub. Her pose is derived from that of the crouching Aphrodite of antiquity. There is a Japanese-style perspective and a plunging view. This work is one of Degas' most accomplished works on the modern theme of the woman in her bathtub. Degas also experimented with photography. His choice of subject was unfashionable, and he favored distinctly post-interior portraits. He cared little about the quality of the prints and thought that photography offers relaxation. However, in his mid-30s, Degas' eyesight began to fail, which forced him to turn to the art of sculpture. By the time Degas was 57, he was unable to read, and by the end of his life, he had lost majority of his vision. The little 14-year-old dancer depicts ballerina Marie van Gotham. This wax figure is clothed in a real bodice, tutu, and ballet slippers. She is topped by a horsehair wig tied with a silk ribbon. She stands posed in a relaxed fourth position with her back arched, belly forward, and hands clasped tightly behind her back. Viewers expected to see idealized forms of smooth white marble, bronze, or plaster. However, this skinny young dancer with a protruding jaw and belly surprised the viewers. Degas lived through the 20th century, promoting his work and becoming an art collector. He never married, but he did have intimate friends, including American painter Marie Cassatt. Edgar Degas died in Paris on September 27, 1917, at the age of 83.
Created using Powtoon.